It is Reaction Monday. I'm losing count. It's the 8th straight victory for the Texans. The playoffs are now inevitable with a lot of questions to answer.
Playoffs?
Landry Locker, Cody Stoots with you. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Texans get the dub in LA. Let's waste no time, Cody. Give me your biggest takeaways from the dub in LA. We'll get to the big picture at the end, but your biggest takeaways just from the game itself. Saturday in Los Angeles.
I mean, this played out basically like every other Texans win has played out. I know there's been an exception to the rule here, but for the most part, this Texans team wins games by the defense just kicking the other team's ass, the offense giving you just enough at some point in the game. I guess usually it's towards the middle or the back of the game. This time it came from the very beginning, and the special teams did their job, and the Texans win. It felt very much overall like a typical performance. Defense did their job. Special teams was good. Offense gave you just enough, and you sneak out of there with a less than a touchdown victory, which has happened time and time again this season for this Houston Texans team. And you need a little bit of luck involved, and when you know it, you got enough, and you have another win. So it felt very much like a typical Texans win for me in LA.
Yeah, I thought there were some tests passed. I mean, Blake Fisher held up nicely, at least as nicely as you could hope that he would hold up. I thought Nick Caley, I really didn't think Nick Caley was that bad. Was he great? No, but I didn't think he was actually that bad. I actually think that it wasn't as bad for CJ Stroud against the Raiders, but in times it was. Like there was the really hot start and there was the up and down. I think it was kind of a combination of what we've seen from CJ Stroud since his return. We've seen the really good, we've seen the really bad, and then we've seen just some meh. But I actually thought Nick Caley, as far as the script and everything, I thought he did a decent job. And I think this new element with the run game that we wanted to keep an eye on, and we talk about evaluation, I think it's now a reality. I think that Woody Marks and Jawar Jordan are your two backs. Nick Chubb, perfect amount of usage, although some might say too much. He had one carry. But I think that the mix of the running backs now is where it should be, and there's different elements to the offense. So I agree with you. This was Houston Texans football. This is what Houston Texans football looks like, and you can't complain about going on the road and winning in LA. Now you can look beyond it and wonder, are they going to continue to win games this way? But it might not matter because it's just the reality of what this team is, as you so eloquently said to start the program.
I wrote this on Houston football. This was the recipe for success for the Houston Texans that they've used time and time again. I just don't know if that recipe plays in the playoffs. And I think there's different elements of this game that you can point to and be like, yeah, in the playoffs, that maybe is not going to work. In the playoffs, maybe that's not going to work. But you're not in the playoffs yet. I know it felt like a playoff type game because it's a big time opponent. You win, you're in. But this recipe, carrying it over to the playoffs, that'd be dubious. But for the regular season, it's been more than enough for the Texans to use this recipe to get wins.
Yep, I agree. Let's jump into the landlocked key moments, reliving this game here on Reaction Monday. S&L, Landry Locker, Cody Stoots with you. By the way, it's going to be a very fun January for us because we're going back to Spanky's. We will be back there this Friday, and I got a surprise for Cody. I got a surprise for Cody. I got you a gift, and it is a good gift that I will unveil. It involves one of your favorite things, and it took some thought. You can't buy this in the store. So I got you the ultimate gift, and I will give it to you this Friday. Spanky's, January 2nd. Also be there January 9th, and we'll probably be there again. But Spanky's gatherings are always awesome. January 2nd will be the first one. We'll look ahead to the Colts, and we'll talk to you people, and I do mean you people out there.
And January 9th, we've got an opportunity there to be coming to you from Spanky's the day before a playoff game because I would think in all likelihood,
playoffs,
depending on the opponent, the Texans are probably playing that Saturday afternoon game. So might be a fun one on the 9th. Certainly going to be a fun one this Friday on the 2nd. So put them on your calendar and be there.
Yep, always a fun one. We look forward to seeing you out there. Let's get into the landlocked key moments from the Texans dub, and I thought there were a few to mention here when it comes to the moments. Right off the top, the aggressiveness by Nick Caley, and I brought this up last week, and I actually asked him the question about it, in the press conference. Isn't it funny how that works sometimes? I asked him about his aggressiveness on third down, and I think it was a big reason why they won against the Raiders. The completion to Nico Collins and the passing out of the end zone. This one's 3rd and 1, and you take a shot downfield. You immediately find Jaden Higgins. You take a 7-0 lead. I thought the continuation of Nick Caley being aggressive on third down paid off. And then right off the top, we saw what the Texans defense was. Danielle Hunter with the sack on third down.
That is such a ballsy call on 3rd and 1 to start the game when you don't have a consistent offense. Like this is not an offense that you can rely on, you can bet on. It's a pretty tough defense, but Nick Caley suspected they were not going to bring a bunch of heat early on. He was right. The offensive line held up. CJ put it right on Jaden Higgins, and Higgins did the rest. It was a fantastic play. He just ran past his man. It was a great job by Higgins. CJ saw it. Gutsy play call. I loved everything about that. That was awesome to see, and I foolishly thought that was going to set the tone for the day for the offense.
Yeah, and well, and then it continued because you had some more Iowa State guys. It would be weird for me not to mention that Hutchinson did draw a pass interference to move the chains, and then on the very next play, the 3rd impact by an Iowa State receiver. We've been asking for it. Jalen Knoll, 43 yards. Texans take a 14-0 lead. I do have a complaint that I want to address after you talk about seeing Jalen Knoll do his thing.
I mean, Jalen Knoll off the line of scrimmage and Christian Kirk off the line of scrimmage. It looks like 2 different guys playing 2 different sports. Jalen Knoll looks like he shot out of a cannon. Christian Kirk looks like he's moving in slow motion sometimes, getting off the line of scrimmage. So, I mean, I certainly understand, hey, he's a veteran. He knows all the plays, yada, yada, yada. Physically, Jalen Knoll's gifts and tools can be further utilized by this team. And I love the way that the play was set up. CJ found Knoll, and it was a fantastic play. And again, I like taking those big shots, and I thought that was going to be sort of a tone setter. You know, that was
it was definitely a tone setter. It definitely set the tone. Now, did it carry on? It wasn't. That didn't necessarily happen. So I agree with you on Knoll. It's good to see Knoll making an impact in a meaningful situation. So maybe that's something that we can look forward to moving forward. Maybe that's something that continues along with the running backs. But I do have a complaint. And sometimes I watch football games. And by the way, Rich Eisen, if he doesn't pronounce his name Noel, maybe just throw the Noel joke out of there. Like I don't understand. I don't understand. He's the worst. That guy should not be allowed to call play-by-play. He makes Al Michaels right now look like Al Michaels in his prime.
Warner was awful too. This was one of the worst broadcast crews we've seen all year long.
Well, Kurt Warner was talking about at the end of the game, he was talking about could it be pass interference or defensive holding, and the quarterback never threw the ball.
My favorite was
first play before it happened. Rich Eisen said that Kingston was starting at tackle, and I was like, "What?" And I looked out there, like, no, he's not.
He got the Kingston thing wrong. Later in the game, Warner was like, "Oh, should they go for it on 4th down when they needed 10 points?" Like, it's not like they needed.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah. Warner and Eisen were awful, and I don't know who Rich Eisen is friends with to keep getting that assignment, but he's terrible.
I guess he's just done a lot for NFL Network, so they just let him do it. But just someone who's like got as many jobs as he does and like has a broadcast background, it's disrespectful for him to even try to do it at this point. It's pathetic. But that's not even my complaint. Here's my complaint. And this happened a little bit later on in the game too. Sometimes when I'm watching a game, I think something and I'm like, okay, let me look this up and see if this is even right. Did they not call kick catch interference anymore? Like Jalen Knoll got ran into twice. I know that you have to give him the space has kind of lessened, but you can't just run into the punt returner twice. They did it twice. They did it on the first punt, and then they did it on the punt after that. What are we just not calling kick catch interference?
It's like uncatchable football and pass interference. They don't call it anymore.
I think they do though. That was what was confusing about this.
I do wonder too if I wonder if sometimes the officials see a block that maybe it's not there, and they're like, "Oh, well, that guy got blocked into it."
They did it twice. One of them maybe, but they did it twice. Yeah. Like they did not call it.
This was a poorly officiated game both ways.
All right, so then we go to the Chargers' next drive. This one was another sack. Again, another drive-ending sack. This one was Anderson and Rankins. Sheldon Rankins has had an under-the-radar, really, really good season. And the second straight Chargers drive just completely gets blown up by the best edge duo in football.
Yeah, just obliterated. They were all over the Chargers offensive line early. We did not see Austin Deculus, which was a bit of a surprise to not only us, but Chargers fans as well. The Chargers decided to start Bobby Hart at left tackle. He hasn't played like 100 snaps at left tackle. He hasn't done anything at left tackle in a few years. And Chargers fans were beside themselves because Bobby Hart was awful. He might have been the worst offensive lineman on the field.
They brought Deculus in later, and you know how many offensive line combinations they've had this year?
24, I believe, correct?
24 with Rashawn Slater missing the whole season.
Yeah.
So he doesn't even count. Like one of the best tackles in the league, and then Ott only played 6 games. They've had 24 offensive line combinations, and Austin Deculus, they're begging for him to start.
Correct. Yeah. It was, we would, if the Texans did the equivalent of the Bobby Hart thing for their line, we'd be killing them. Like it just did not work at all.
All right. So then a couple of grab ass possessions, and then we get to a moment where I think he's got to be smarter than this. And I think it kind of killed the momentum a little bit. Dalton Schultz picks up a penalty as the Texans are on the edge of getting a 3-possession lead. Now I know the guy hit you in the face mask and kind of slapped at the ball, but you can't just get up and blatantly push somebody. So the Texans get a 15-yard penalty, the drive stalls, and the opportunity to go up 3 possessions, which is just almost impossible to expect this Chargers offense to overcome. It happens. And I think from there, the offense just completely fell apart. I think the Schultz penalty was really, really foolish. And quite frankly, quite honestly, I think Dalton Schultz has been the last 2 games, he's been closer to 2024 Dalton Schultz than he was the best version of Dalton Schultz that we saw for the overwhelming majority of the season before these last couple games.
Yeah, he turned a 3rd and 2 into a 3rd and 17 with his pushing of the defensive lineman. Tier Tart flopped. Like Schultz didn't push him hard enough to fall down. Tier Tart flopped.
If Dalton was that strong, then blocking wouldn't be an issue.
I will say I had no idea Tier Tart was such a nasty mofo. He was punching guys after the play. He was jumping on top of piles at the end.
I think just the name Tart makes you think, gives you a preconceived notion. I think you just don't have respect for the alpha-ness that can come with having the last name Tart.
But yeah, that was terrible by Dalton Schultz. I mean, a 3rd and 2, they have a variety of ways they could have converted that, and the chance to even if that possession only ends up being 17-0 instead of 21-0. You really put the Chargers in just a untenable position, and Schultz's penalty just erases your opportunity for that. You don't have many 3rd and 17 calls.
Yeah, I just can't do it. You're going to win a game, and I know there's a lot of hardos in the chat that would have done the same thing. I get it, and I'm not sitting here saying that it shouldn't have frustrated him a little bit, but it's just kind of one of those things. You got to be smarter. Weird that the ref didn't even notice it though, kind of, but they're not calling kick catch interference. They're not calling that. So it's kind of what it is. And the refs will make a few cameos a little later on in the season here on the Landlocked Key Moments. Let's take a pause here and let's go to Z chat.
Swarm.
Anima35 says, do you think the offense looks good first quarter because it's scripted, but then falls apart with the wide receiver choice routes? I don't know if they're what do you mean by wide receiver choice routes? I won't say it doesn't always look good early. It does always appear more times than not to disappear late. So I don't know if that was a scripted, very good script this week by Nick Caley.
Yeah, I think that part of the reason the offense fell apart in this one was there started to be some heat on the quarterback, and the quarterback started making some bad decisions and some too quick decisions.
Function says, are the Patriots the only scary team for us? Are they scary? Their offensive line's depleted. They have an inexperienced quarterback. They have a really good coach, decent defense, really easy schedule, but I don't think that you use that to kind of minimize the job that Vrabel's done. But I would say that Denver is scarier than them.
Agreed.
I would say that I don't know if I'll say Jacksonville just yet because there's familiarity and it's kind of an up and down thing. I think Buffalo's scarier.
Agreed.
I'm still
Baltimore's scarier.
Still more scary to go to Baltimore, even with Lamar Jackson and everything. Because if you play Baltimore, you're going there. They're not coming to you. So when we say Baltimore, you're going to Baltimore if you face them. And then I think Buffalo, maybe not the Chargers. This offensive line situation is hard to overcome. So yeah, I would put the Patriots down my list, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would say at least 3, maybe 4 teams that I'd put ahead of the Patriots.
Texans fans 254 Jeff says, what time should I be at Spanky's on Friday? 2 o'clock. We get there about 2 or 3. Whenever you want to hang, just come through, hang. We got you.
Arrive at 3, live at 4, baby.
Yes, sir. We'll see you there. Evan on Z chat says Casario struck gold. Nolan Higgins, great picks. I always liked the wide receiver, the skill position guys. I was open to a running back, but I don't think either one of you have complained about the Higgins null. There was talk about maybe Trey Henderson or Judkins at 35, but I like both of these guys. I will say this though. Luther Burden looks like he might be a ball player. He looks like he might be a ball player for the Bears. He might be their Jamison Williams eventually.
He just broke his leg or something. Got carted off the field at the end of the game last night.
Yeah, and Caleb Williams just sprinted off. But
Caleb Williams didn't give a damn. It's like, we lost. Luther's dead. Who cares?
Ricardo
I do feel it has been interesting because the wide receivers last year, it felt like we're so good throughout the course of the season and like we're good almost from the jump for a lot of teams. It's taken a long time for the rookie pass catchers to kind of catch up here at the back end of the season. Yeah. But this group has finally settled in and actually put together a lot of production here on the back end. And a lot of people were probably unfairly comparing them to last year's group.
My thing, and Ricardo says 0-3 to playoffs. I'll never doubt Milk Dud Man again. My thing is I don't know that the struggles were anything other than opportunity. I feel like whenever these guys have gotten opportunity, and there's probably stuff that happens that doesn't allow you to get the opportunity, especially at receiver. There's a lot of stuff beyond your control. There's a lot of stuff that maybe coaches see, whether we agree or not, that prevents guys like Jalen Noel, hand-to-hand combat, from getting on the field. But I never at any point felt like, damn, these guys are just lost causes or these guys are going through slumps. I never saw like a rookie slump unless you're just looking at the box score.
Yeah, I mean, look, and I think we all understood and agreed that this year's wide receiver group probably needed time to kind of get their feet wet. They weren't as talented as last year's wide receiver group, and they finally found their way. And I mean, I just taking a quick peek at rookie rankings. Jaden Higgins is 4th in yards. Only a handful of guys have more touchdowns than him at the wide receiver spot. So, I mean, he's finally turned into a really nice player after kind of some, you mentioned it, opportunity things early on, and then eventually settled down.
Yep. Next on the chat, Evan says illegal contact doesn't get called. Bolts score 10.
If illegal contact doesn't get called, Bolts score 10. Oh, he's talking about the one that got erased when they ran into Petrie.
Yeah, the end of the game was just a shit show all around. I don't know what was going on at all at the end of this ball game, and really at the beginning. Like when you're not calling kick catch interference when someone gets run into, it's all bets are off. It does feel like, and I don't know, and I don't think this was just a Chargers thing. It's actually league wide. Like it's kind of funny because like if you I get to sit down and relax and watch more games, like when we're not covering a game on Sunday, obviously. But I mean, I felt like there were like at least, I don't even know, 15, 20 like illegal contacts on third down. Like it's almost like they're looking more at third down than anything, and third and long too.
Oh yeah, it's I had no problem with any of those calls getting called because the offensive player gets the benefit of the doubt. It's the NFL. The offensive player always gets the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I thought the illegal contacts were pretty consistent. Honestly, I thought that the roughing the passer on the Chargers was bullshit. I thought that was bad. Like, even like if that happened to the Texans, like I didn't even think he used his body. I think he just like went. I don't even I thought that was a bullshit call.
I feel like, I'm sure we'll get to it, but I feel like that's not the nature of the rule.
And I also thought that there could have perhaps been a safety because there was a juggle on the toe. So I think those were the two bullshit calls, the roughing the passer, and that could have been a safety. But the illegal contact, it was just trash all around.
Yeah. I mean, it was called poorly. If you think it was called poorly, it's called poorly both ways.
Dogo18 says, don't know why Noel only got 25% snap count still. Don't get us started on Noel snap count, please.
Well,
we're with you, my friend.
They went to him again early on, and I was like, oh, maybe he's replaced Christian Kirk. And then I saw 13 trot out there a bunch, and I was like, nah, all right.
They can't quit Kirk.
No.
They can't. Evan says, by the way, what does it take to get Jalen Noel the kickoff returns? Like, what is going on there? Can they like sit by each other or something?
Oh, you mean like because they kick it to Tremont Smith?
Jeez, we'll get to him in a second. The landlocked key moments. Evan says that safety Wallace looked good too. Yeah, the
Lucky Fotu.
Yeah. The young Costa says, do we still need to play for seeding or should we rest our starters? Look, my number one priority was avoid the possibility of having to go to Buffalo. I know they just lost yesterday. That's a tough-ass football team that they lost to. My number one priority, and I know it would suck or kind of not be like the most stress-free experience to have to go to Baltimore and face the Ravens, but I would much rather go to Baltimore and face the Ravens. And then there's a pretty decent chance if you win your next game, you're hosting the AFC Championship game. Because Buffalo is going to have to take care of business. So if you can go to Baltimore and win your next game, there's a decent chance that you're hosting the AFC Championship game, because I don't think Buffalo's losing to anyone else. They're the team that needs to ice up. Like Josh Allen, get his foot right. But I think avoiding the possibility of having to go to that miserable-ass place, cold and everything. It's a great place to go to watch a football game. It's got to be September for me. I ain't going in the cold. But I think you got to stay ahead of Buffalo. I really do.
Yeah, I would think Buffalo's, with or without Josh Allen, they're playing the Jets. So they're going to win. The Chargers have a tough game. Denver's still fighting for the number 1 seed. So that's not going to be an easy game for the Chargers. So I would think Buffalo's going to win. I would bet you that the Chargers would lose. I just like Denver a little bit more right now. And the Texans would need to win against the against the Colts to maintain that 5 seed if Buffalo indeed does win, which I expect that they will. So I would prefer to be the 5 seed than the 6 or the 7. And then obviously I think most of us, or all of us, would prefer to be the 3 seed, but that's probably not happening because you have to get some help from Tennessee.
Yeah, that's the ideal, but you're ahead of Buffalo. There's no possibility of having to go there.
A win and the lowest you go is 5.
Yes. So the question would be, like, with your path, would you like to have the possibility, the strong-ish, of hosting an AFC Championship game and having to win in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson with a banged-up back and a flawed Ravens team, although they're going to get a clean slate if they win? Or would you rather avoid that and then have to go to Buffalo and so just beat the Colts? I think you can rest guys and beat the Colts. And it looks like they're going to go with Riley Leonard, so you can kind of balance it out, but beat the Colts and you avoid Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I know that they've had success against Buffalo. None of those games have been here. All right, so the next key moment, we have a C.J. Stroud interception to Derwin James. This was not great, not a great route by Dalton, as you have pointed out, and I know it got tipped, but I think sometimes when we hear about, well, the ball got tipped, it's almost like sometimes it's like, well, it got tipped because of a good play. Sometimes it got tipped because of the quarterback. Like, it can be the quarterback's fault that it gets tipped. This was just not a good overall play by CJ Stroud and company.
This was an interception either way, tip or no tip. I mean, that thing was headed right for Derwin James. You go watch it time and time again. Dalton's not in the place where CJ's throwing the football. It was an easier catch for Derwin James because it got tipped. If it's not tipped, it goes right into his breadbasket, and he catches it. And it's still an interception.
Yes.
It was a quick decision by CJ Stroud, and he made a few of those in the pocket to sort of try to handle the pressure. And I don't know that he was always making a good decision when he was making some of those quick decisions.
All right. Then the next key moment, and there were two, one of them scary, one of them very, very impressive. So I think the emphasis, and this was on the second down on this drive, their recognition on these short passes to Hampton was unbelievable. Like their screen recognition, really, for the most part, there've been a few exceptions here and there. Like going back to the Jonathan Taylor against the Colts, the perfectly laid out 31-yard on the side, and you've seen a few to McBride here and there, and it happens. But their screen recognition and their ability to take away the screen with Omarion Hampton and the Chargers short pass game, unbelievable this entire game. And I think the epitome of it was on the second down of this drive.
Yeah, they were flying around, and they were not going to let Omarion Hampton beat them. They were not going to let Omarion.
Clearly, D'Amico Ryan's strength is the recognition and all that type of stuff. All right, so then Kamari Lassiter goes down, and this is kind of a scary moment. And briefly, I wonder if the game is going to get away from him. We'll talk about that in a sec. But the Texans bend, don't break. They force a field goal, and the Chargers have to settle for 3 after the Stroud interception. So the defense, as they have so many times, not just during this win streak, but really during the D'Amico Ryans era, whenever a mistake is made on offense or special teams or whatever, the defense holds them to 3. You can go back to the Jacksonville when this win streak started, when they had to stop them twice on the Autry penalty on special teams, and then hold them again. The defense you can win 3-pointers in basketball games. You don't usually win them in football games, especially games like this. They have done an excellent job of bending, not breaking, and holding opponents to 3.
Yeah, so I mean, just it's one of the best powers of the superpower is to just force them into 3 and keep 7 off the board, and they've done it at a very high level.
All right, so then kind of a missed opportunity for the Texans, and I think this was.
I have a question for you, because I thought there was I thought Kamari Lassiter broke his leg.
I don't know.
When I saw it live, when Petrie hit him, I was like, oh God, because it was the second friendly fire that had taken out a key defender, because EJ Speed hit Al Shire, and Al Shire had to leave, but he came back. When I saw it live, I was like, oh God, I think he just broke his leg, and then he's down, and I was like, oh no.
And then
they show the replay, and it's like, oh, is that an ACL? Is that an MCL? Is that a PCL?
They were effing with you too, because he walks to the locker room, and the sideline reporter, I actually like her. I thought she did a decent job, but she's like, he just whispered something to his mom. He went to the back. So at that point, I just assumed he was at least done for the game. I didn't know whether it was good news, bad news. I just thought that he was at least done for the game, but he had the Kamari Lassiter look on his face. Like, it's always like a real, like kind of like happy, but kind of intense. Like,
yeah.
So he goes to the back, and then we will we will see the impact of not having Kamari Lassiter. Short-lived, fortunately, because I don't know if you win this game if he doesn't go back out there. But before that, I thought this was one of CJ Stroud's worst throws. And I got to give Nick Caley credit. I've been bitching a lot about getting Woody Marks involved in the offense, the passing game. Drink, one of the most successful receiving running backs in recent college football history. That's an impression of myself. But he's wide open down the sidelines. Whatever the hell route that was, he's wide open. And CJ Stroud just had to put some air on it. But you can tell he gets kind of scared because Khalil Mack is untouched coming through. And you can also tell that CJ Stroud knows that he missed a massive opportunity because Woody Marks was going to the house if you just put some air on that and put it in the middle of the field where he can go up and make that play.
Yeah, that was a tough miss. And, man, to see Woody streaking down the sideline with that thing, if he'd put it in the breadbasket, would have been fun.
Yes, but it did not happen. All right, then on my notes here, and I mean no disrespect. I think the guy does everything he can, but I'll just pull up my notes and show you what I titled this.
Oh boy,
what I titled this series, because we've all seen The Water Boy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my title on my game notes right here. It's at the very top. You ready?
Ready.
There's my bet.
Jesus, man. Come on.
Remember when he onside kicks right to the scary guy?
Yeah. The guy's worried.
As soon as they saw Tremont Smith, the Chargers get their longest play of the game, 16 yards, right at Tremont Smith. Later on in the drive, 60-yard bomb as Quentin Johnston burns Smith.
Dude, he slowed down. That's the only thing Quentin Johnston does. And Tremont Smith slowed. I'm like, I get it. It's tough. It's not totally your job. That's all he does is run straight down the field. That's all he does. You got to stay with him.
Yeah, well, he didn't. And the Chargers get down to the red zone with their biggest and way bigger play of the game. But then Oronde Gadsden, he is not Trey McBride and he is not Brock Bowers. Oronde Gadsden, the ball goes off his hands. Azeez Al-Shire gets the interception. And the Texans look like they're going to take it to the house with a 14-3 lead. They still would, but they made it a little bit interesting along the way. But ultimate bend-o break by Azeez Al-Shire gets yet another interception.
I mean, that's one of those luck situations where this guy's been a key part to their offense all year long, and he can't call in a pass that's very catchable. And Azeez is right there. Do you know that Gadsden's cousin is Chauncey Billups?
I did not. I remember his father.
Well, if he's not his cousin, I think he's probably met Chauncey Billups. It looked like he was point shaving in this one. Good God.
A gambling joke. My bad. I missed that. There you go. Okay. There you go.
Oh, God.
My bad. That went over my head. Anyway, so then the Texans, they're at the 1 yard line. And anyone with, I think most people are at that point are thinking, okay, you got to avoid having to punt to the Chargers and them stealing points here at this point. Charge it to the game. If you can get a first down, then take it to the house. That would be awesome at 14-3. Well, the Texans at the 1 yard line with 1:02 left, they run the ball for 2 yards. Chargers call timeout. And then they run the ball. Woody Marks gets 19 yards. And it's like, good job. Crisis avoided. 14-3, take it to the house. I actually typed on Twitter, Texans taking it to the house with a 14-3 lead. Awesome. Well, then they decide that at the 23-yard line, a 22 with 52 seconds left, they're going to throw an out to Dalton Schultz that would have immediately stopped the clock, which honestly is just as good as a timeout for the Chargers, if we're being completely honest. Like that's like literally the same thing as a timeout for the Chargers. It's actually giving them a third if you do that. Then they decide they're going to throw the ball and interception. And the Chargers, fortunately for the Texans, it ends up no harm, no foul, because Dicker the kicker, the most accurate kicker in NFL history, he misses a chip shot. But what in the hell were they thinking at the end of that first half? And I know D'Amico Ryans will say, well, when I'm aggressive, you don't say anything. No, this is a completely different situation. Against Indianapolis, you had a minute 51 left at the 20-yard line, and it was a 3-point game. And then San Francisco at the 29-yard line with 25 seconds, you throw the ball too. The end of half, man, it is a disaster.
Yeah, the goal number one was to get out of the shadow of your own end zone. And then goal number two, to me, should have been, don't give the Chargers back the football with any time left. And then whatever happens after goal number two is kind of a bonus. Like, okay, Woody busts a big run, and they had to take the timeout on that big run because Ingram got hurt. Like it's under 2 minutes, your player gets hurt, you have to use the timeout. It's like they had to take that timeout. I wonder if they maybe would have hurried up and tried to do something, which might have been even more reckless. But coming out of that timeout, if you want to try to get more yards and see if something pops, keep it on the ground. I don't know why you go to the air.
Take it to the house there.
I don't know why you go to the air.
There's
and then after the incomplete pass to Schultz,
no.
Why do you go to the air again?
I'm gonna discourage you because I've actually solved the mystery. Because I actually went back and looked, and it's actually going to be somewhat discouraging for you as to what their line of thinking is in this. Because we try to make sense of it, and sometimes you feel like you're making sense of the senseless. But I know for a fact what DeMeco Ryans' line of thinking is now. And I do say DeMeco Ryans because I think it's as much him as anything. But I know for a fact what their line of thinking is when it comes to this. And you're going to roll your eyes and say, God, that's simplistic, but it's what it is. Like there's a 0% chance that I'm wrong on this. 0. I'm serious. So here's what they do and what their line of thinking is. Because I went back and looked at the end of halves, and we already have like the memory. So there was a really good start where against the Rams, they actually stole points at the end of the first half. They were at the 23 with 53 seconds left, and they ended up kicking a field goal. So Nick Caley actually started off relatively well in this area. Like it was good. Like he did a really good job. It was very well executed, and he handled his business. Then we go to there's been a couple times where it's been captain obvious against Seattle and Denver, where Denver muffs the punt, you end up getting the field goal, and then Seattle, they miss a field goal, a 53-yard field goal, and you hit null, and that's kind of captain obvious where anyone knows that you can be aggressive there. What's happened since DeMeco Ryans has been more hands-on is that there is one simplistic line of thinking at the end of halves. Because I direct you to the 3 shit shows that we've talked about, which are not at all similar. Like I know DeMeco will say, well, when I'm aggressive, no, they're not at all similar. The 3 shit shows, which we pointed out after the win, are San Francisco, where you started out at the 29-yard line with 25 seconds left, up 16-7, and you threw an interception, which you were able to dodge a bullet, which we pointed to. The Indianapolis, where at the 20 with 151 and 2 timeouts, you took a minute 10 off the clock between one play, and then we're trying to get to the sidelines. That was 2. And then the Chargers, which is 3, which you were strangely aggressive and awkwardly aggressive. This is what they think, Cody. Their aggressiveness is decided by whether or not they have the ball to start the second half. And that's crazy. But against San Francisco had the ball to start the third quarter. Against Indianapolis, the Texans had the ball, so they weren't aggressive. And then against the Chargers had the ball to start the third quarter. So the confusion that they have is that they're so simplistic it's what it is. I'm telling you, like they're so simplistic. Like, look at it. I actually did the actual like layout of it. Like,
yeah,
look,
no, I'm not oh-boying disagreeing. I'm oh-boying like I can't believe that's really what it is.
These are the shit shows right here that we talk about, and they're nothing alike. And against San Francisco, you shouldn't be aggressive with a 16-7 lead, but they throw the ball with 25 seconds left at their own 29. They throw an interception, they avoid crisis, which we talked about at the time as what are they doing? Well, San Francisco had the ball to start the half. Indianapolis, you should probably be aggressive. That was just a disaster that we've talked about. Well, they had the ball to start the third quarter, so they weren't aggressive. And then the Chargers, really weird. Well, the Chargers had the ball. So DeMeco's line of thinking is so simple that his aggressiveness is decided by whether or not they have the ball to start the second half. It's just what it is.
And
I didn't want to solve that mystery, but the mystery's solved. So it's not even.
I just can't believe you would operate in a way that potentially gives the Chargers a chance to double you up. And that's what they did. Like
yes.
They created an opportunity for the Chargers to double them up, which is something that I don't know why it's turned into such a larger talking point in the past like 4 or 5 years of football in general. There's too many boneheaded college coaches to talk about the middle 8 and all that bull crap. But like, you should not give the Chargers the chance to double you up in any way. 3-3, 3-7, 7-7. Like, you should not give them any chance to double up. And that's what throwing the football presented, was a chance for them to double you up because they're getting the ball.
Yeah, but that's what they were. I mean, that's their line of thinking clearly. And you sprinkle in the Buffalo. I had the Buffalo on the notes as one of the goods. The Buffalo was good. They played with fire, but they ended up getting that. That was well. But their line of thinking is clearly, we're going to be aggressive when we don't get the ball to start the third, and we're not going to be aggressive regardless of the situation when we do. But that's just where it is. That's the mystery solved. So then we go to the third quarter. How are you feeling at halftime in this one? Shout out to everyone in the chat. We're going through landlocked key moments here. How you feeling? How you feeling at halftime of this one?
It's a friggin' miracle. You get to halftime with the score that it was. I mean, I thought that they were going to go to halftime 14-10 when CJ threw the interception. So to go to halftime 14-3, miracle.
Yep, I would agree. And then the Chargers, they don't take advantage, and Gadsden stays on the payroll. Justin Herbert actually makes probably up to that point arguably his best play of the day, and Gadsden drops the ball.
Three rushers that Justin Herbert has to avoid to get that pass off, and Gadsden just drops it.
Yep.
Awful. It's awful by him.
So then another Dalton Schultz kind of strange moment where it looks like he's going up the field on a pretty well-called, well-dialed up screen, and he gets it punched out. And as a result, Texans short of the first down, they end up having to punt. So this was kind of, I guess, a good play by the defense. But, man, when Dalton's been playing the last couple of games the way he has, it's just kind of like, it sucked.
You got to hold on the rock.
But I thought it was a good play call. Then a two-piece combo from Mr. Grown Man Strength himself, Derek Barnett. Derek Barnett with not one, but 2 sacks. By the way, Derek Barnett looks like a guy that might still get the newspaper.
I don't think we've ever talked to Derek Barnett.
He's very nice now. He's very nice. He's just like, hey guys. He's like, hey people. He's like very nice now, but
even in Dallas, after he had the fumble return for a touchdown, I don't think he talked.
No, but the difference in Derek Barnett is he doesn't want to talk when he wants to talk less when he does something good.
Yeah.
And like when it's bad, he's like a little even nicer. Like he's like, it's not like he's dodging. Like he doesn't want to talk. He just doesn't want to talk.
Yeah.
I don't think he has much to say.
I don't think I've ever talked to him.
All right, so then the Texans extend their lead to 17-3, and I thought this was a good job by CJ Stroud of picking up yardage to get closer to the field goal. He finds Xavier Hutchinson to make it a 40-yard attempt on 3rd and 23. So I thought this was one of those like under the radar plays where you're not going to point to it like you do the first 2 touchdowns. But I think in the big scheme of things, to extend the lead to 14 on a 3rd and 23 and take what they give you, I thought this was a good job by CJ Stroud of doing that. And those are winning plays. Yeah. Like when you look back at it. So I thought it was a good job by CJ and Hutchinson of executing that.
Yeah, you'd much rather kick a 40-yarder than a 50-yarder. So, it's a good job to get a few of those yards back after that was just it's tough to be super critical of Nico in that moment because like that's the job on that play, but like you'd almost rather let the guy go and go for a loss of 2 than get a 10-yard holding penalty.
No doubt. By the way, Patrick on the chat says Derek Barnett's not dodging like Cody avoiding pop.
All right. Patrick, you're banned.
Quit dodging pop, man.
I'm not dodging him.
Pop, lock, and drop it. Pop, lock, and drop it.
All right, so then
this is the perfect week to talk to him.
All right, so then we get to Super Herbert. This was an impressive display by he. So you had a toss on 3rd down, Keenan Allen with Petrie on him. I actually thought it was good coverage by Petrie, to be honest with you. Oh, not really. But Keenan Allen kind of works the slot a little bit. I thought they would try to do this. I guess they just didn't have time. But Keenan Allen moves the chains. Then Justin Herbert just decides to go truck mode, and he stumbles for 28 yards. Derek Stingley leaves for a play. Derek Stingley, I think, was trying to get some momentum because he was back. He's a very big vet when it comes to that.
Two things on that Herbert run. The way Stingley hit him, I thought that Herbert should have had to been checked for concussion. Just the way that like Herbert's kind of head jerked a little bit. Also, I'd have to probably sit down with Aziz and show him what I saw for him to explain what he saw. I don't know if Aziz thought Herbert was going to keep going and that was the angle he took, or I don't know if Aziz, kind of held up because he would have decapitated the guy if he hit him after Stingley hit him. But I thought Aziz was going to be there to make the play, and then Herbert kind of keeps it going.
So do you think it's possible that the Trevor Lawrence drama was in the back of Aziz's head?
I don't know. Because the angle Aziz took was the perfect angle to stop Herbert from getting extra yards. If he didn't, like Herbert kind of stopped when Stingley hit him and then kind of kept going. Like Aziz had the perfect angle if the Stingley hit doesn't happen. But I don't know what Aziz was thinking, because if he was taking an angle for where Herbert was going to be and then Herbert wasn't there, it's more understandable. But if he held up because he didn't want to just kill the guy, like I also sort of understand it too.
All right, coming up in 10 minutes, I got a treat for y'all. And I know that football leads to excitement in many different ways. We hope you'll join us at Spanky's. But the question of the day is, did something make Cody horny during this football game? I think the evidence would say yes. We'll let Cody defend himself in 10 minutes. Continuing with the landlocked key moments. So then Justin Herbert, God, I don't know how he stayed up here, but he gets a touchdown and Gatson kind of redeems himself. And all of a sudden we have a 7-point game. And this is where I was like, okay, this is going to be an interesting game. But you just saw Justin Herbert just flip the switch and look like an elite quarterback during that stretch.
Yeah, I mean, he just put the cape on. There's only a handful of guys that actually have the Superman cape, and he put it on for that drive.
Yes, he did. So then the Texans get a bailout. They get a roughing the passer, which I thought was a bad call. You can put that safety in there as well shortly after. But there was a roughing the passer where it was just a bad call. Now, I would say that the Texans weren't able to take advantage, but the 15 yards did allow them to pin the Chargers at the 1 yard line. By the way, good punting by Tommy Townsend this week. Good special teams as a whole. So on the surface, you look at it and say, well, they didn't get points, but the 15 yards allowed them to pin the Chargers at the 1 yard line, which I don't think that's something to yawn at.
No, it's a very good job, and it's a good job by Ingram to down it there. And that's a guy that's been here 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is. And there were numerous short time here contributors in this game.
All right, so the Chargers unable to take advantage now. Could have easily been a safety. I think you thought it was a safety on the toe, the kind of the bobble.
The rule is forward progress wherever they go. I don't think he had control of the ball before he got out of the end zone. It's like toe to me tackled him in the end zone.
Yeah, I would agree with you. They're weird on safeties now too, by the way. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. So then Herbert goes,
would you have it happened quickly? Like they moved on from the play pretty quick. Obviously the TV broadcast is not giving you anything because those guys suck.
Here's my thing.
Should D'Amico have challenged that?
Here's my thing on that. Maybe, and I don't think it would have been the craziest thing to do. But from where I'm watching, and this is where I do empathize with coaches being in different situations and hearing different things in the moving parts. But from where I'm sitting, I saw a similar play between the Cowboys and Lions where it looked like it was like an actual safety, and they didn't even overturn it. So I don't know. They said he was like right on the edge. I think Prescott should have had a safety. Do you remember the play I'm talking about? It was I think it was on Monday or Thursday or something, or Sunday night, one of the prime times. So I just didn't. I'd already watched a play this year where that's a safety, and the refs for whatever reason saw something completely different.
They also are really, they're really tight with with timeouts in the second half versus the first half. They're a little bit more liberal with them in the first half. And I do wonder if some of the tough calls from the booth earlier in the year has maybe made D'Amico even more conservative on challenges.
Yeah. I could have understood that either way. Then an elite play by Herbert, but the Texans hold him for nothing. And the Texans actually hold up. And then the Texans, this was the ultimate run game display here, where you get the 2-possession lead, you feel good about yourselves. And Woody Marks, he takes them home 9 yards. Then he moves the chains. Then 7 yards. The Chargers jump off sides. Then, my God, Woody Marks looked like he was about to die. Maybe Cade Stover was a little bit late. Who knows? But he looked like he was about to die.
Awful play call. That's whatever the play call is to not have somebody right away touch Khalil Mack to block him. Awful play call. Khalil Mack should never be unblocked. He's the best player on their defense.
I think it was timing because Stover was coming over.
Well, Stover's not exactly an elite athlete trying to go from the right side of the line of scrimmage to the left side. That could have been a fumble. That could have been so much worse than it actually was.
Then Jawar Jordan picks up 10, and the Texans get a field goal to make it 20-10. And you feel good about it, but then the defense makes it a little bit interesting. We have a Jalen Petrie penalty that extends the drive. Gadsden catches a pass inside the 10, and then touchdown by Omarion Hampton makes it 20-16. I say 16 because Dicker, the kicker, my God, he misses the field goal, the chip shot, and he misses the extra point, or else we would have a tie game right now.
Yeah, so many kicker luck things over the course of the year. Most notably that I think about is the extra point in Buffalo, or excuse me, against Buffalo to start the game. The Indianapolis Colts kicker missed an extra point. And then Dicker the kicker, who's the most accurate kicker in NFL history. If I heard it once, I heard it 500 times from Rich Eisen and Kurt Warner. That must have been their big talking point this week, idiots.
So then it becomes a 4-point game. And the Texans, it seems like whenever the Texans' backs are against the wall, whether it's against the Titans on a 3rd and long, whatever, it seems like CJ, even if he's not contributing throughout, he goes to Old Faithful, and you get Nico for 19 yards. Then you have a sack by the Chargers that is negated by an illegal contact, and that appeared to be the call that everyone was talking about, but the Texans were able to take it home. Big props, by the way. Last week I said that Jawar Jordan and Nico Collins played better than their stats. This week, couple people played better than their stats. Number one is Woody Marks. That's a tough son of a bitch that it seems like whenever you need tough running, even if you look in the box score and you see a 2 next to his YPC, whenever they need it, even if the other team knows it's coming, and even if he's getting the shit knocked out of him because they know it's coming, he gets the job done, whether it's extending the lead to 20-10, which pretty much iced the game, or running out of the end zone and giving D'Amico an opportunity to take it to the house, or icing the game. Woody Marks, Kansas City too. Woody Marks just gets the job done when it comes to the tough running. And now you add in the compliment of Jawar Jordan, friend of the show, who also had a hand in that 20-10 thing. You got a nice little running back duo right now going for you.
And I thought the mix was pretty good. I maybe would have used a tiny bit more Woody Marks early if I was kind of like debating on the actual mix that Nick Caley used. But both those guys create yards when there's less or nothing there. Woody Marks typically does it with physicality, but he's got a little bit of vision and agility to do it. And then Jawar Jordan, he seems like he's a little bit tougher to tackle than most expected in short yardage situations because he'll go horizontal. He's got some shimmy to kind of turn, and he's not afraid to try to run into somebody either, despite his size. He's not nearly as big as most running backs, but I thought both of them do a really good job of stealing a couple of yards, feet, whatever it is, in some of those runs, a variety of different ways that they can do it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I think that I think this is the perfect mix. And credit to the Texans, because I don't know that we always would have thought that the Texans would have been able to just say bye-bye to Nick Chubb, but they've been able to do it. And if you missed it, I actually just put this in the chat, so save this for after. We got to talk to Jawar Jordan. He's a good dude. It was fun to get to talk to him before this game, and I think we kind of cracked a mystery because I think he was hurt last year, and I said it in camp, like, he looks a lot faster. Dude was going through a hell of a lot last year that you might not know about. So check out that interview on the S&L video section. We dropped it on Christmas Day. We got to spend about 10 minutes with Jawar Jordan. I think you'll like what you hear from him.
Yeah, this 2024 was awful for him for a variety of reasons, and 2025 finished at the highest of highs for him. And I'm very excited to see what he can do with this tandem role that they have him in with Woody Marks.
All right, so we'll get to Cody's context in a second. We'll also get to the Texans turf, Kings of the Turf. We hope you'll join us at Spanky's the next couple of Fridays. But the run game makes a lot of people excited, some more than others. And I have this question here for the people. Did Marks and Jordan make Cody Stoots horny? That is the question. And some of you might say, Landry, what are you talking about? Well, Cody was on KHOU yesterday. Looking sharp, doing his thing. Some good analysis with Seth Payne, Bristol, and the crew. And he was talking about the run game. And this is what Cody
haven't always had success running the Texans. Haven't always had success running the
Texans haven't always had sex running the football. Let's say this one more time.
The Texans haven't always had success running the football.
How horny did that run game make you, man?
Couldn't stand up, baby. Couldn't stand right there watching the run blocking. But they
success running
the carry this into Cody's context, because I think this is a good job talking about the offensive line. I thought when you think about who the opponent is and the situations from where they were able to successfully run the football, this is one of, to me, the better rushing performances of the entire season. The Chargers are excellent at forcing you to have runs of 0 or negative yards. It's called stuff percentage. And they are the 5th best in the league at it. 20% of the runs that you go against the Chargers go for 0 or negative yards. And the Texans only had a handful of those, and most of them were 0. Now, they had a couple of negative plays here and there from a run standpoint, but most of them were 0. And you think back to the way that the Raiders handled them the previous week. You factor in 2 new starting offensive linemen this week. I think this is one of the best rushing performances that they've had all season long. So it's a really good job by them. Here's the rest of Cody's context. It was the 4th time they didn't score a touchdown in the second half. The other 3 games were the Rams, the Broncos, and the Bills. So something to pay attention to is the defenses get better. It feels like, halftime adjustments, figuring things out. A little bit tougher to score in the second half against those teams. Second time they started with at least a 14-0 lead this season. Arizona was the other one. Of course, they blew Arizona out. They did not blow the Chargers out. 8 pressures allowed by the offensive line. It's tied for 3rd fewest this season.
Yeah, not allowing a sack was impressive.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the 2nd time this season that the Chargers have been held sackless. Just the 2nd time. And the first time since week 11 that they've been held sackless. It was a really good job by the offensive line and some of the extras around them from a pass blocking standpoint.
Yeah, I would agree. That's Cody's context here on
I got more. I'm not done.
All right. He wants more.
Why are you cutting me off?
He wants more context. All right. Give us some more context.
Last week, they only had 8 quarterback pressures. This week, they had 16 quarterback pressures as a defense. The best stuff percentage by the defense since week 8. Last week, their stuff percentage was 7.4, which is awful. Ashton Genty went nuts on them. This week, 27.3%. So 27% of the runs went for 0 or negative yards by the Chargers. And then I thought this was pretty interesting. It's the 7th time in the 45 games that CJ Stroud has played that he's thrown 2 or more interceptions. It's just the 2nd time the Texans have won one of those football games. The other time was when he threw 3 interceptions and they beat the Cardinals. His rookie year.
The Kyler Murray. That one was a disaster too, right there on the sidelines.
Yeah. The other time this season that he did it was against the Jaguars. Now, obviously, that last one is that one on CJ, is that one on Ariante Ursary. Assign the interception as you see fit. But just the 2nd time they've won a game in which CJ has thrown 2 or more interceptions.
We'll get into the CJ grade and the evaluation because I don't know if everyone's going to love what we have to say when it comes to CJ's overall performance, but that is the greatness of Cody's context. Horny Cody.
The Texans haven't always had success.
Okay, there you go. Last one.
Bristol couldn't have edited that out. We couldn't have done something. We couldn't have thrown a play over it, so you didn't see me stumbling over my words.
I just think it made you horny. I think you're expressing your true self. Let's go to Z Chats here on Reaction Monday. Landry Locker, Cody Stoots with you. Who are the kings of the turf? I'm interested in this. We'll get that in a sec. First, let's go back to the chat.
Swarm.
Jay Clark. Look at that haircut, man. Goodness gracious. Look at that haircut. That dude, I mean, that is what kind of product do you think that is? Hairspray and gel? Mousse? That's a mousse. That's a mousse wave, right?
I think that's gel, maybe.
Okay, gel, but the comb. Okay. Anyway, national media type suck at covering the Texans. Love the show. Thanks for the updates. Also, is it just me or is Stroud and the offense tend to struggle coming out of the half? It's not just you. We just laid that out. It's not just you. I will say the national media seems to be loving up on the Texans a lot. I feel like they're the clear dark horse. I feel like the defense gets a lot of love. It's hard to lump a Rich Eisen, Kurt Warner broadcast into national, and then you factor in that Maurice Jones-Drew and Robinson are like the studio show. That's poor representation, but I don't know if there is good representation of NFL national media at this point.
Yeah, I mean, look, don't go to the national media to talk Texans. Come here.
Yeah, come here. We got you covered, for sure. Malik, he said, the team is easily making the AFC Championship game, and even then, the hardest team is the Bills. That I'm very confident about. Texans will host the AFC Championship game versus the Bills. It's laid out to be that way, and I don't hate the path. I do still wonder if they can go to Baltimore and win if Lamar Jackson is healthy. It's a big if. When you start talking back, I mean, that's kind of scary, but yeah, I would be with you that if they do beat Baltimore, there's a decent chance that if they win that next game, which would be against.
Well, it all depends on who wins and who loses.
Yeah, I think Buffalo's winning their first round game no matter what. So
that's the thing. It's like if the 5, 6, and 7 all win, you host a divisional round. Not even the AFC Championship game. You host the divisional round.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun to get into there.
Yeah.
Clear picture. Izzy says, can Cody sign my fudge bars box if I bring it to Spanky's? You bet your ass he can.
I sure can. I'll even bring a silver Sharpie so it looks good on the fudge bar.
And he will be very happy because he's going to love the gift that I'm giving him. I can promise you that.
I'm not getting you anything, by the way.
I don't want anything from you. Your mom gives enough crap here. And by crap, I mean good stuff. So yeah.
I was going to say crap. What's going on here?
I don't want anything from you.
You want some more of the cheesecake dip? You loved that a couple years ago.
I haven't had a carb in a week. I didn't even eat a carb at any of my 5 Christmases.
Well, bad job by you.
Yep.
Not even the new year yet. You're already starting a diet.
Yes, I am. I'm gonna try to nudge someone and see if I can get like the ultimate like carb-free Spanky's kitchen thing from when we go there. I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, I'm having a half and half pizza and wings on Friday, so no.
I'm not trying to get you involved. I'm just trying to do.
Okay.
I'm trying to get you involved. I'm just.
Would you like to read the people the text you sent me randomly yesterday?
No, come on.
Would you like to read the text?
Come on. You're talking about the game? No, you're talking about asking about the screen. Jay McDonald says
No, don't move on yet. Hold on. I'm going to read it.
Noel is a durable depth.
No, don't move on.
Yeah, Noel is going to be a great receiver for sure. No doubt. He's great.
Yeah, I like Jalen Noel. I also like when randomly Landry goes, hey, do you think your weight is lower than Trent Brown's listed weight?
I was asking.
Why were you asking?
I was just curious. I was asking.
Yeah.
I was asking. Evan says offense showed greatness in quarter one. Then the O was meh. That is a fact, my friend.
You know, if they kept that first two drives up, they'd have won 50-0.
Ricardo says every time anyone goes down, it looks season ending, especially when players are down on a knee. Maybe we all got PTSD. Yeah, there have been some scary moments that didn't end up being so scary, specifically with the corners.
Yes, Stingley, he missed like a play. Kamari had to leave the field, was back before halftime.
He saw Tremont Smith out there.
And I thought Ed Ingram was going to be done for the day, and he was back out there. So credit to the training staff and to, maybe us just being overreactionary to what it looks like.
Savage says, I'm driving down from Fort Riley, Kansas Station with Army here this weekend. Going to try to be at Spanky's Friday. Beer on us, baby. Beer on us or drink.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. Or soda, whatever you want. We got you.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for coming down. I know we got somebody coming in from San Diego, too, to see us.
Stay classy, San Diego. Evan says, I feel the disease could have ran for a few yards.
Oh, after the interception?
Yeah, I think he just kind of went down.
I was kind of hoping, like, when he caught it, he'd, like, keep his body in the end zone so it'd be at the 20. I was like, oh, no, don't get it to 1. I don't want to see that. They made it work, though.
Sid says, only bad weather or Nick Caley can beat us in the playoffs. Keep feeding Noel. Fastest player on the team. Baltimore would be so bad weather. You're talking Denver, New England, Baltimore. Jacksonville's not going to be too bad.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's no walk in the park either.
And those are your only spots. Yeah, that's true. They got problems. If they win though, that would be fantastic. God, it would be fantastic. Only 3-point line. God, that would be fantastic.
Can you imagine old ass Aaron Rodgers trying to get away from Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson and Derek Barnett and all that?
That would be amazing. Colston says, afternoon, Cody and Landry and friends. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
That's our guy, Charles. Good to see you, man.
The boy right there. Big C. Woody Marks is Eddie George. Says Arch. That's a little much. I like Woody Marks, but Eddie George was pretty solid.
Hey, if Woody Marks turns into Eddie George, we'll always remember where we were when we saw that first.
Best draft picks of all time, if that happens. Evan says
they're size-wise a little different, too. Eddie George is a bit bigger than Woody Marks.
Yes, for sure. Evan says one of the RBs smoked a DB. I think it was Woody.
They are very physical with some of their various jobs they ask those running backs to do.
DeRhino says, someone please ask Kaylee Thursday if we can get some more Noel.
I'll just play you the clip from 2 weeks ago, and I'll play you the clip from 8 weeks ago and 6 weeks ago because it's, hey, those guys are doing a good job. We trust them. We like them. Sometimes the situation dictates this and that.
A1 Demon Fox says, everyone keeps saying Bills are toughest opponent, but we made Allen look ass twice now. Only team I think is a threat is the Jags, only because they're in our division. Even Lamar has been very bad this year. Okay, I still think the Bills are the biggest opponent. I
think Landry's primarily talking about Bills in Buffalo.
Yeah, Bills in Buffalo is tough, but Bills in Houston's tough. It's Josh Allen, it's the playoffs, it's battle tested, it's all that. So yes, I will say that if you listed all these playoff opponents, I put Buffalo as the toughest. That's just me though.
Yeah, I think
Jacksonville's playing good though.
I think they have the best quarterback of the teams that are in the playoffs, even if Lamar's playing. I think Josh Allen's playing better right now. Lamar's clearly hobbled in some way, shape, or form. So I'll take not playing the best quarterback in the playoffs for 100, please.
Yeah, I would too. But my God. And in Philadelphia, it's a different beast. They're so battle tested. with that dub that they had yesterday. All right, let's go to the Kings of the Turf, presented by Texans Turf. Shout out to Dan the man. He's the guy. He did my yard. He's done a lot of people's yards around town. Nicest neighborhoods, normal neighborhoods, whatever. Putting greens, playing surfaces. He's got you covered. He's not a slime ball like the rest of these guys. He's going to customize it. He's going to take care of the fences. He's going to make it perfect for you like he has for me. I love it so much. You will too. The process of shopping sucks. I did it for you. It was not fun, but it was worth it because I found Dan the man. TexansTurf.com. Always green, always clean. Increase that property value, make the neighbors jealous, and have the best yard possible. In the spirit of Texans Turf, Cody Stoots presents the Kings of the Turf.
All right, here are the Kings of the Turf for the win over the Chargers. I'll go with Azeez Al-Shire. His return helped settle down a team that couldn't stop the run, and he had the interception. Henry To'oTo'o played better with Azeez out there in a more normal role for Henry To'oTo'o. The tackling was better. The defense was all over the place. The prediction of where the ball was headed and the ability to flow to it was better. Azeez is a big piece to this thing. I have Will Anderson sacking Justin Herbert, but it's really the whole defensive line. I didn't have a singular picture of the whole D-line, but Anderson had a half. Rankins had a half. Barnett had 2. Hunter had a sack. Lucky Fotu had some nice plays in the middle. Togi had some nice plays in the middle. They were stuffing the Chargers rushing attack basically all day long. So the defensive line gets King of the Turf. And then I'm giving Nick Caserio a King of the Turf for this week. Kevon Wallace off the street, comes in, plays right away for Miles Bryant, is much better than Miles Bryant. Lucky Fotu off the street, comes in, plays right away, is much better than Marlon Davidson was last week. Naquan Jones has been here for a few weeks. That was a waiver claim a few weeks ago. He was solid in this game. And then you look at some of the draft picks that Caserio's made recently. They just showed up in spades throughout the course of this game. Obviously, Kamari Lassiter, the 2 rookies at wide receiver in this one, Woody Marks. Caserio getting some credit for this one. Okay. Go ahead, bitch about it. Who'd I leave off? What king did I not anoint?
No, good job, man. That's great.
No, go ahead. Say what you got to say.
I thought Wallace was great too. That definite upgrade there. He's good. 38. Very nice. Keep Miles Bryant off. He's going to be I feel like he's going to make an impact. I kind of thought you could have put Kamari Lassiter instead of Nick Caserio. I mean, the guy gets hurt. They immediately pick on the guy that replaces him for 76 yards. He battles out there. He comes out there and makes plays. But, anytime you can kiss the GM's ass, you got to take advantage of it. Shout out to Texans Turf for doing their thing.
Kamari also got smoked for 25 yards when he was on Gadsden.
Okay, there's your Texans Turf, Kings of the Turf. Nick Caserio, really?
Am I supposed to put up 7 pictures of the guys that weren't on the team 3 weeks ago?
I'm just kidding. Anyway, Texans Turf. Good job, Cody. Come on, man. There's no need for the language. Come on, man. Let's go through the positions as we do every Reaction Monday. Let's start. Yeah, Kayvon Wallace. We'll get to him in a sec. But let's start with the quarterback, CJ Stroud. I thought it was a C- performance. Very good start. And then it wasn't as bad as the Raiders, but it wasn't great. I thought a lot of times, and the problem with CJ is most of the times the defenders will say, and we've been in that situation where you'll say, well, he's got a depleted offensive line. Things aren't going well, and he's running for his life. But when you have a mirror image on the other side of a guy with his 24th offensive line combination going against the Texans defense, and it seems like he's often putting, as you put it, putting the cape on, you kind of see it. There were some misses, throws. So I say he passes. So I'll give CJ Stroud a C.
The early start was great. He had made a handful of plays here and there. I don't know how much of the pressure that gets invited is because CJ Stroud doesn't make the correct call or does make the correct call at the line of scrimmage. I felt like he made some really quick decisions that either were bad throws, or if he had taken the time with the pocket clean, he would have had a better play somewhere else. The second interception was awful. I thought the first one was definitely getting picked anyway. So yeah, it was not the best day, and certainly not as good as some of the other games he's had since the return from the concussion.
Yeah, so C, I would say. Running backs get an A. I mean, this was – I don't know that there was a lot of room for Woody Marks to function, but you look at – we talked about the situational running by Woody Marks, the getting out of the end zone, giving them an opportunity to go to the house before they kind of got rid of that, setting up the field goal to make it 2010 with the help of Jordan, and then icing the game. And let's be honest, Woody Marks ran a route where he should have had a touchdown. CJ Stroud just kind of missed him, or he should have at least had a big play. So I thought the running backs were really good.
Yeah, A+ for me. When you factor in the opponent, some of the challenges of the offensive line and how important this one was, I thought they did an excellent job.
Then we go to the wide receiver obs here. I want to hear what you have to say about this.
I mean, really good job. Quarterback wasn't getting him the ball as much, and there were opportunities to run the football, so you didn't throw as much. It's not like I could put some of these interceptions on the wide receivers. That wasn't the case at all. You had Noel and Higgins have the really big plays. Noel had another nice play. Hutchinson made some key plays. So, and then of course Nico. So, I mean, an A day from them for me.
Every opportunity they had to make plays, they made plays, and the rookies set the tone. And old faithful Nico Collins was there when you needed him. I thought this was there was no mistakes really like that you can point to. So I would say the offensive line are the wide receivers get an A. Tight ends, Dalton Schultz was bad. I give him an F actually. Cade Stover whiffed on some blocks. Dalton Schultz had the fumble. He also had the penalty. I know some people will say, well, he pushed him. You could have ran away with the game early had you not gotten that penalty. So I'm gonna give the tight ends an F. This looked like a 2024 version of Dalton Schultz, as opposed to what we've become used to. So that's what I'm going to give them.
Yeah, bad job by the tight ends. The penalty, awful. The fumble, awful. Blocking, not great. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Next one, the D-line. This is an A, brother.
Hold on. Timeout. We skipping the O-line?
They passed.
The O-line deserves some time here because
they passed.
I mean, I thought Blake Fisher would be a leaky sieve here. I thought Blake Fisher would be a huge issue. He wasn't.
Well, CJ was also doing a good job just throwing the ball whenever there was any there was anyone like an inch into the backfield.
Yeah, but in August, I watched someone named Casey Toohill whip Blake Fisher in less than a second, and Khalil Mack and Tuli Tuipulotu and Owe and all those other guys weren't crushing him. So, I mean, the bar's low for Blake Fisher. He cleared it by a wide margin in this one. Patterson probably could maybe move some earth a little bit better on the inside if, you get the opportunity.
Lots to ask, brother.
So I thought the O-line had some really nice moments, and it's not all on those five guys when all that pressure starts showing up. That's a lot on the QB, the OC, the tight ends, and everybody.
Yeah, I'm being trite. Yeah, I thought the O-line was good, very good, as good as you could possibly expect for sure. Man, Andrews, I hope he gets better. I hope he gets better.
Andrews.
Jake.
Oh, you think like you think he didn't have a good performance?
I just think it's very mid at this point, and I think he would probably agree with that.
Yeah, there definitely could be more.
D-line,
all the interior guys.
D-line is an A.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the depth guys look better. I talked about the offensive guy. I think Willie Anderson was better than his stats too. I gave him a hard time about sacks. I think Justin Herbert was making a conscious effort to run away from 51. I also thought he got called for an offsides penalty where he wasn't offsides. I thought he timed it perfect.
Yes, I agree.
I
thought that was a bad call.
I did not think he was offsides. There have been times where he's jumped offsides. Do not think Will Anderson was offsides on that. But I think he was better than his stats. I know I like to give a hard time about advanced stats. I thought he was better. I thought the D-line was great, though. Amarion Hampton did nothing.
Barnett, Rankins, Anderson, Hunter, and then from just a run stuff standpoint, Fotu, Togiai. Good job.
Then we go to linebacker, LB ops.
Thought they were excellent.
Yeah, I thought they were great. Henry To'oTo'o, one of his better games. Azeez Al-Shire, another interception. Toughening out like he has been. The linebackers were good. EJ Speed, not bad. He did his thing. And yeah, I thought they were good. So that's another A. Let's start with the safeties instead of the corners. 38 is a player. And 38 was almost like an extra linebacker out there. Like you saw his presence and he was out there doing his thing. We talked about Miles Bryant at safety and how you couldn't sustain that. Thought he did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy that had been here, what, a week, 2 weeks? You know, however long he's been here and figure it out and get in there, get some of this action, first action in the NFL, like in a game, in a regular season game since 2024 for Kevon Wallace. Really good job by him and physical, man. You could tell the style of player that they like and the role that they were asking him to hold down. And he does not have Miles Bryant size, so he does not have a lot of the Miles Bryant issues.
Yeah, he's a thumper. He's out there doing his thing. He could be like this year's Togiai. How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, this year's Togiai. He's got some experience too. So there you go. I'm talking about just down the stretch. Then the cornerbacks, best in the league. I mean, just the absolute best in the league. Now, I know Kamari did get beat. These guys are banged up, and these guys are battling, and these guys are doing their thing. And you don't win 8 straight games without these guys. Just absolute dogs. Kamari Lassiter gutting it out.
Do you think they have one of the weaker depth charts when it comes to cornerback?
Currently, yes. I don't know what Jalen Smith was or wasn't, but like currently, yes. I do think actually Tremont Smith is playing better corner than he has before, which is not saying a ton. But yes, I do think these guys are being asked to do a lot. They did trade up for Jalen Smith for him to be that third guy. So without him, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm scared to death if Tremont Smith plays corner.
As well you should be. You know who else is? Kamari Lassiter. Special teams obs.
Really good.
Perfect. Frank Ross has been doing his thing. Perfect. Down the punt and the one. Kayami Fairbairn's done his thing. No impact in the return game. I think a lot of people a little bit disappointed. They don't want to see as many Tremont Smith returns. Don't know what to tell you when it comes to that. But yeah, outside of that, special teams pretty solid.
I mean, Frank Ross explained that it's like hang time on the kicks and stuff like that. So we've only seen 1 week of the only Jalen Noel back there. But if Tremont Smith's back there, they're going to kick it to Tremont Smith. They're not going to kick it to Jalen Noel.
Correct. That would be smart. So special teams obs good. Coaching, I think all 3 phases were well. The end of the half is a disaster that hopefully just it's very simplistic. If they don't get the ball to start the third quarter, they're going to be aggressive no matter what, even as foolish as it looks. See San Francisco and LA. And if they do, they're going to be conservative no matter what. See Indianapolis. So it's very simplistic line of thinking, but that's what it is. But outside of that, coaching was fine.
Yeah. Well, they had a nice performance. Defense was excellent. Special teams was really good. And I thought Nick Caley had some pretty gutsy and big ball moments early with some of the play calls, and they gutted it out. And good mix of the running backs as well, which is another positive for Nick Caley. So good job.
Good job. Outside of that, there's nothing really else to add when it comes to the positions. Check out Houston football if you want to peep the scene on grades and all those types of things.
Yep. HOUfootball.com.
HOUfootball.com. Glass half full, glass half empty, and we'll lay out the playoff outlook before D'Amico Ryan speaks. Texans Collective, if you're not subscribed to the Texans Collective, we'll see you today at 10:30 I'm going to get really in depth on the playoff scenarios because this is going to be the most fun outlook of the year. It's pretty much the last because we'll be talking playoffs next week. But 10:30 for the Night Owls tonight in the locker room. Glass half full, glass half empty.
I mean, the half empty is, I mean, some of these guys that are key players might be really banged up here in the next week. Plus, the fact of the matter is you don't have to have those guys to probably win this game. And you don't have to win this game. It'd be nice, certainly, but you don't have to win this football game. You're in the playoffs. You're in the dance. So if guys need to get, a little bit of rest, you can. You should get some guys back from that weren't available last week. Like I think maybe there's a chance you get Trent Brown back. So that'll be intriguing. And another part of the half full is it feels like you found a running back rotation and a running back duo that works. And it's a more talented duo than what you had a few weeks ago. So that's a really nice one too.
Yeah, I would say glass half full is you can avoid Buffalo. So mine would be you can avoid having to go to Buffalo at this point with the dub. The division, I'm not going to hold my breath. Matter of fact, I already have printed out the Jags caps for the AFC South champs. Doesn't matter. You avoid having to go to Buffalo with a win no matter what happens above you in the standings and no matter what happens in Duval. So avoiding having to go to Buffalo, I think, was a win. Bad news, you might have to go to Baltimore in the first round. Beggars can't be choosers, though. It's not going to be easy, but that's my glass half full, glass half empty, kind of taking our eyes off our own paper and looking at how the playoff outlook looks right now. The two teams that you thought you would be chasing, one of them you kind of pushed back to where you don't have to go to their spot, but the one that we kind of had pronounced dead and they rose up like the Undertaker, you might have to go to Baltimore, which has been kind of the kryptonite with Lamar Jackson under center.
Yeah. And it'll be a compromise, Lamar Jackson, if you do play him, but it's still Lamar Jackson. So,
yeah, he's got the hurt back, and he's got the report that apparently he likes junk food a lot, which, whatever. There was a weird report out of the Baltimore Sun. I guess it's one of Aaron Wilson's mentors, by the way, out there at the Baltimore Sun.
Hey, bro. Alpha Aaron here.
When Lamar was hurt, I saw on TikTok, there was like a food truck in Baltimore that was like, hey, look who pulled up. And it's Lamar, and he's got like 4 things. And I looked up the food truck, and it's like deep fried, seafood egg rolls and like stuff like this. Like it wasn't exactly a lot of health food.
Lamar likes to eat junk food, play video games, and he doesn't like to get up early. So they moved practice back, apparently, according to the report. So, hey, still one of my favorite players. I can promise you that. You're still one of my favorite players.
So Lamar's just like the rest of us.
Yes, he is. On the chat, shout out to Best Believe 277 for his. And then he says, who do you think we should rest against the Colts? Whoever needs it. I think the Colts are going to be resting too. There's talk that it's going to be Riley Leonard. So whoever needs it, rest it. But you got to win the game. You win the game, and boom.
They kind of treated that game yesterday like a season finale for them. Like
all students in the crowd and all that. Yeah, it was corny.
Students. It was his family. It was all 70 of them.
But the other thing about it is that he sucked. Let's be honest. He was terrible. They might have won the game with Riley Leonard, if we're being honest.
What the hell were they doing going for it in the midfield, 4th and 11?
Yeah, that was dumb. And it was actually dumb that Greg Olsen was justifying it. Kind of weird. So, yeah, the playoff outlook is laid out. We appreciate y'all for rolling through. Subscribe, like, ride along. Come to Spanky's this Friday. We'll see you there. And always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Playoffs, baby. We get at least one extra game. It's a fun time to be alive. Let's celebrate. Let's hang out this Friday at Spanky. Shout out to Texans Turf as well. This has been Reaction Monday presented by S&L.
Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texas again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.
How does Woody Marks and Jawar Jordan make one horny?
You're an idiot.